Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Well, Jim, it's another Friday. They seem to roll around quite rapidly.
And Larry, you've cranked out another news release. Nobody puts out more news, I think, than you do. What's the latest?
Well, before I get into the latest, I'd just like to say we do have a lot of news stream that comes out, but we are in an emerging market, and there's always a lot of stuff to talk about that I'm not sure that everybody follows, and I just like to keep everybody up to date on how exciting this project is. And the news release we put out was an update on the stage 1 and 2, and some of the assays we got back, which is the initial assays. And I would just like to go through that a little bit and explain that, we didn't get the 100%, and I don't believe that, after looking at the feedstock and everything else that we will, but we'll get close to it. And what we got was the initial pass, and I mentioned in my podcast, I think last week or the week before, that looking at the foils, I saw bits and pieces of cathode material clinging to it. Now, we think we've developed something that will actually get most of that off, and I say most of it off. But when that happens, of course, that means that you're not getting 100% of the material back. And we're going to get as close to 100 as we can when we move through the project, but the exciting part is we were able to get the cathode materials out with a very high purity, and that is the important part, because we want to make battery material that can go directly back to the battery company. Now, when you look at that and you say, okay, what does that mean? Well, it means one big thing that we've never talked about. We always use the LME base metal prices for the cathode material, but we don't use the enhanced value because of the chemical processes it goes through before it's used in a battery. And that's expensive, and that can range from anywhere from 30 to 50% more per pound of cathode material than the LME prices. We'll eventually use the prices that we get from battery-ready material from our process that doesn't have to go through these chemical treatments. And if you look at that, you say, why, that is a fantastic thing. You can save the development of batteries with cathode materials. You can save a lot of money, and I'm not sure how that's going to be spread around with between us and the battery manufacturers. But that's something for people to think about. We haven't used those prices. So, and the other thing that's happening is you're seeing a lot of companies that are talking about getting 80% and high returns on recycling. As we investigate through those, we find that it's a bit misleading, and it's ours is transparent. Anybody who wants to do due diligence on us can. Our process is worked by a contractor who's arm's length, that doesn't own any shares in the company, doesn't own any interest in the process. They get paid for the work they do, and that's why they call them a research lab. But I imagine they'd love to have an interest in this, because it's one of their favorite projects, and it certainly is the CEO's favorite project from Chemetco, so we have that going for us. Now, the market. What's been happening in the market? You're seeing a stronger market developing, and that's because we got some great amount of credibility from the venture we have with the DOE and their labs. And we wouldn't be there as a foreign company. We wouldn't be there as a private company unless we had something to offer, and that we do. And so that's helped out tremendously. So the people are beginning to see this as a real opportunity. They begin to see this as not a flash in the pan. We're working through it. We've got other patents pending that will even make it even better. And so that's the short and sweet conversation that I'm going to have today, Jim. It's been a great week, and we're almost completed on our private placement. We're trying to close that out. We hope to close it out this week, but it'll be early next week. And that's all the news I want to save some for next week.
Larry, for people new to American Manganese, what are you all about?
We're a critical metals company that has developed a process for treating very low grades of manganese. That's one thing that I haven't really discussed much, but I will be doing some press release on that. We have a process that takes the predominant grades of manganese available in the U.S., which are very low, and in the case of Artillery Peak, it's 2 to 3%, and we're able to produce electrolytic metals and electrolytic dioxide for batteries at costs that are very similar to what the Chinese costs are, and they're working with 30 to 50% material. Now, the other thing is that it's a critical metal. It's very critical to the U.S. You can't make steel without it. It's certainly the Department of Defense has a great need for manganese and the building of heavy equipment and everything that's used in wartime, and so we've got the answer for that. And with the electrolytic manganese dioxide for batteries, we've actually made batteries back in 2011, and prototype batteries that have worked from the material that we've gotten out of Artillery Peak. So we'll be hearing a little more about that in the future because the price is starting to strengthen, and I think it's a great asset for the company. It's a cornerstone of the recycling program that we have right now. And just to let you know, you can find anything about that on our website, AmericanManganeseInc.com. And you can also query the company at on their phone at 778-574-4444. You can email me anytime at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com. We're traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF. And we're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. And I wish everybody a great weekend.
Larry, thanks a lot for the update.
You're welcome.
My guest has been Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on April 12th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.